The historical tension between the Alaafin of Horia and the Olubadan of Ibadan is rooted in a complex evolution of Yoruba political structures, shifting from the ancient imperial authority of Horia to the 19th century military dominance of Ibadan. Traditionally, the Alaafin is regarded as the supreme head of the Yoruba and the successor to the throne of Oduduwa, wielding a divine and ancestral mandate that spans centuries. Conversely, Ibadan began as a 19th century military camp composed of refugees and warriors. While it eventually became the most powerful military force in Yoruba land, protecting Horia from total collapse, it lacked the ancient royal lineage of its neighbor. This created a permanent friction between Horia's ancestral seniority and Ibadan's military and administrative superiority, leading to recurring disputes over who should take precedence at public functions and within the Council of Obas. One of the most notable historical clashes occurred during the reign of Alaafin Lamidi Hadiyami III and Olubadan Oba Oloyede Hasanike I in the late 1980s. During a meeting of the Oria State Council of Obas and Chiefs, a heated argument ensued regarding the permanent chairmanship of the council. The Alaafin, citing historical precedents and his status as a first-class monarch, insisted on permanent chairmanship, while Oba Hasanike, representing the massive population and economic weight of Ibadan, demanded a rotational system. The impasse was so severe that it required the intervention of the state military governor at the time, who eventually had to mediate a power-sharing arrangement to prevent a breakdown of traditional order, though the underlying resentment remained. The rivalry intensified during the era of Alaafin Hadiyami III and Olubadan Oba Samuel Odolana Dugbe II. A significant flashpoint occurred during a state function in Ibadan where seating arrangements and the order of arrival became points of contention. Oba Odolana, a stickler for the dignity of the Ibadan throne, often challenged the Alaafin's perceived overreach into Ibadan's internal affairs, specifically regarding the appointment of minor chiefs in areas Ibadan considered its territory. This particular score was settled through a Cold War diplomacy, where both monarchs eventually agreed to maintain a respectful distance at public events, though they rarely missed an opportunity to assert their independence through press statements issued by their respective palace spokesmen. Another memorable encounter involved the Alaafin and the Olubadan Oba Salihu Hadetunji during a high-profile coronation ceremony of a subordinate chief. The tension erupted when the Alaafin arrived with a large entourage and was accorded a grand entry that the Olubadan supporters felt overshadowed the host monarch. This led to a symbolic standoff where neither monarch would acknowledge the other's presence first, as the first to greet is often perceived as the junior in Yoruba culture. The situation was diffused by elder statesmen and high chiefs who physically positioned themselves between the two monarchs, acting as a buffer to ensure that the event could proceed without an open verbal confrontation. Given the recent handshaking snub involving Olubadan Rashidi Ladoja and Alaafin Abimbola Owoade at the 2026 interfaith gathering in Oria State, expectations for subsequent clashes remain high. The most viable way out of this perennial cycle of superiority contests is the formalization of a rotational chairmanship within the State Council of Traditional Rulers, coupled with a clearly defined protocol manual that respects the Alaafin's ancestral status while acknowledging the Olubadan's sovereign authority over the state capital. By focusing on developmental collaboration rather than hierarchical dominance, both stools can preserve their dignity without the recurring embarrassment of public snubs.